a profanity-laced tirade, an embarrassing flee from the stage, and a breakdown in the middle of a performance. Whose onstage meltdown is the most bizarre? Keep watching to find out. Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses has a long history of causing controversy and a thing for punching people in the face. From punching a fan who compared him to John Bon Jovi to laying one out on David Bowie, it was clear that the rock star had a short fuse. While the band was known for their outlandish behavior, one of their messiest concert appearances took place on June 2, 1991, while performing in the Riverport Amphitheater in St. Louis, Missouri. Axl Rose spotted someone in the audience with a camera and blew his top. The lead singer dove into the audience to confiscate the equipment himself. He later told the Los Angeles Times, "I felt completely uncomfortable with the way security staff was responding. There was no respect for the band. I didn't plan on jumping off the stage to grab a biker and his camera. The security guys in the front knew exactly what was happening, and they were doing everything they could to let that guy go, which fueled my fire to make sure that didn't happen." He grabbed the camera, shouting, "I'll take it, damn it." Then Rose managed to get back on stage, dropped his microphone, and left with his band following suit. A riot ensued, with several fans getting injured. Rolling Stone stated that the band was banned from the city, and Rose was charged with 4 counts of misdemeanor assault, 1 count of property damage, and he was fined $50,000. While he was later found not guilty by a judge, the band did hit back at the city on their Use Your Illusion album with the hidden message, quote, "F you, St. Louis." The Doors frontman Jim Morrison was known for being a groundbreaking artist, but throughout his career, he found himself in a few legal troubles, with one arrest during a live show. It was 1967, and the Doors were set to play in New Haven, Connecticut. The New Haven Register recalled, "As legend has it, Morrison was surprised and maced by a police officer who happened upon him making out with a fan backstage. Morrison and the officer reportedly exchanged apologies, and the singer still took the stage, but he lashed out, beginning with this retort to the audience. I want to tell you about something that happened a few minutes ago right here in New Haven. This is New Haven, isn't it? New Haven, Connecticut, United States of America." The police walked up and arrested the singer in front of his angered fans. Pandemonium ensued, and Morrison was charged with incitement of a riot and obscenity. Charges were dropped, but 2 years later, Morrison would get arrested again during a show in Miami for exposing himself in front of thousands of fans. This time, the rock star was found guilty for open profanity and indecent exposure. Morrison was free to go, but unfortunately, his appeal was never settled after he was found dead in Paris, France in 1971. According to NPR, 41 years after his death, Florida pardoned Morrison of the charges from that Miami night. His bandmates, including Ray Manzarek, had always believed that Morrison never exposed himself to his fans. Fiona Apple tries to really live her truth. Taking a look back at her successful career in the 90s, the singer told NPR that she wouldn't have changed a thing if she could talk to her teenage self. Sharing in 2020, "I've always wanted to live facing the truth, taking the truth and turning it into something beautiful." However, when she won Best New Artist at the MTV VMAs in 1997 after the release of her hit album Tidal, most people didn't quite understand Apple. Known for doing her own thing and not conforming to society, Apple took the stage, and instead of giving the repetitive thank you speech like so many other artists, she addressed the world, saying, "I didn't prepare a speech, and I'm sorry. But I'm glad that I didn't, because I'm not going to do this like everybody else does it. I'm going to use this opportunity the way that I want to use it. This world is bullshit, and you shouldn't model your life about what you think that we think is cool, what we're wearing, and what we're saying and everything. Go with yourself. Go with yourself." Apple was instantly criticized for her bizarre speech. MTV recalled that she became the, quote, "butt of jokes." NY Rock said that she was a pretentious and, on occasion, excruciatingly silly human being. Although Apple seems to have been trying to take a stand for what she believed in, what she had to say came out a bit harsh, confusing, and unready. Sometimes it's good to come a little prepared. Ruthless fans can always be a cause for concern. But rapper A$AP Rocky and his A$AP Mob crew took matters into their own hands in what escalated into a nasty brawl between the artists and fans during a South by Southwest show in 2012. According to Spinner, it all started when a do-rag was taken from an A$AP Mob member. After the band asked for it to be returned, someone from the crowd threw a beer can on stage, hitting one of the crew members. More objects were thrown toward the stage, with A$AP Rocky and the other men leaping into the crowd as a, quote, full-blown brawl ensued for several minutes. Rolling Stone reported that while the brawl only lasted a few minutes, one person was seen with a bloodied head. Police eventually made their way to quell the riot. Ozone magazine shared that this wasn't the first time A$AP Rocky and his crew got physical at a show. In 2011, the rapper had issues with the size of his stage while going to perform at Fader Fort in New York City. His crew reportedly turned over drum sets, and when a stage technician tried to remove the equipment, he was jumped by members of A$AP Rocky's crew and departed in an ambulance. At a concert in Nashville's Summit Center, now Bridgestone Arena, in 2010, a fan captured a video of John Mayer apologizing to his bandmates after he used a racial slur in his infamous Playboy article. In his interview, Mayer was quoted as saying, "Black people love me." He then used the N-word while discussing having a, quote, hood pass. Mayer went on to say that he could not date black women, explaining that his private parts were, quote, sort of like a white supremacist. More specifically, he compared them to David Duke, the former Grand Wizard of the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. Mayer was heard in the fans' concert video stating, "In a quest to be clever, I completely forgot about the people that I love and that love me. Everybody on this stage is here playing with me, not because they condone what I say in any given interview, and certainly not in the interview that's made the rounds today. They're on this stage because they support myself as a possible future grown-up." Appearing to be crying mid-apology, he also stated, "Maybe I need to take a break from trying to be clever and spend a little time looking at what they see. I just want to play my guitar."
I've always wanted to be a stand-up, and it didn't work very well for me.
American songwriter pointed out that one of his background singers, who is black, was seen crying during his apology and added that 5 out of his 8 bandmates were black. Mayer had also apologized on social media for using the N-word, tweeting, "It was arrogant of me to think I could intellectualize using it because I realized that there's no intellectualizing a word that is so emotionally charged." Green Day's lead singer Billie Joe Armstrong is not to be messed with, especially when he's on stage playing in front of his many fans. During a 2012 iHeartRadio Music Festival show, the band was given 45 minutes to perform and kicked things off with their hit American Idiot. Far Out reported that during the performance, Armstrong noticed a screen signaling that they only had 1 more minute left on stage. He thought that they had 20 minutes left. Supposedly, Green Day was never informed that their set was being cut short from 45 minutes to 25 in order to make more time for Usher. Being the rock star that he is, Armstrong expressed his frustrations in front of the entire crowd and was heard yelling, "I'm not f***ing Justin Bieber, you mother f***. 1 minute left? Oh, now I got nothing left. Let me show you what 1 f***ing minute means." Armstrong proceeded to smash his guitar on stage, with his band member Mike Dent following suit. The Guardian reported that Armstrong entered rehab for substance abuse just days after the incident. He later looked back on the meltdown and shared with Q, "I thought it was more negative than it was. Now, I think it was one of the most punk rock moments of the last 10 years. I should have taken it as that instead of a nervous breakdown. I know it gets pretty dark for other people that were involved, like my wife and kids, but as a piece of theater, it was pretty amazing." Pop duo Milli Vanilli had us all fooled. They were dubbed the biggest lip-syncing scandal in pop culture history by Biography. Dancers Rob Pilatus and Fab Morvan thought they would get away with becoming one of the most celebrated pop groups of the late 80s and early 90s, only to be finally caught lip-syncing during a 1989 Club MTV performance. Their hit song, "Girl You Know It's True," became stuck on a loop. and simply wouldn't stop. Milli Vanilli had dominated the Billboard charts before the performance, and even after the lip-syncing scandal, their success continued for a time. They won the Grammy for Best New Artist in 1990. According to Totally 80s, it wasn't long before the truth behind Milli Vanilli began to come out, when the duo and their producer Frank Farian admitted that they hadn't sung a tune for their record. Pilatus and Morrison were forced to return their Grammy Awards. They were fired by Farian when they insisted they be allowed to sing on their second album. During an interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2013, Morrison looked back at the scandal and how much it had affected him. He shared that they had lost everything, and it was publicly harsh.
You don't know where to turn to because there's no body around you. You're left alone.
Michael Jackson has been a huge inspiration for Chris Brown, so it became an emotional moment for the rapper when he got the chance to perform a tribute to the late King of Pop at the 2010 BET Awards. Brown's performance was the year after he was charged for assaulting then-girlfriend Rihanna the night before the 2009 Grammys, and he had not been invited to pay tribute to Jackson that year. Brown perfected Jackson's signature moves from songs like Remember the Time and Billie Jean. But it was when he was singing Man in the Mirror that the audience witnessed the rapper breaking down by falling on his knees and crying on stage. Mary J. Blige applauded Brown's performance by tweeting, "Chris Brown made me cry. We all must start with the Man in the Mirror." However, MTV reported that the performance left many viewers divided, with some believing it was a phony attempt at trying to win back the hearts of his fans. Chris Brown has since released dozens of songs and several albums, with 3 of his records landing on Billboard 200's #1 spot. Despite making a comeback, his violence against women is still alarming. He allegedly attacked a woman in 2021, per NBC News. If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also find more information, resources, and support at their website.